Hey y'all, Julia here. I wanted to get on before the episode to say that Jordan and I are paying attention. We're participating in the action. We're supporting all of the protesters and those leading this movement that's happening. And we'll continue to support, learn, and amplify the voices of Black people in order to be an active part of breaking down the systematic racism in this country and worldwide. We don't think that there's anything more important than this. Black lives matter. Black lives are important. Black lives are to be cherished and protected and supported. Jordan and I will not stop talking about this movement. We will not stop supporting in all the ways that we can. And definitely 100%, we will not stop learning about how we've been complacent in these racist systems and how we can always continue to do better. That's huge, especially because we're two white people. And that's what we're here to do, is to listen and learn and provide help where we can. All that being said, obviously you're not listening to this podcast or coming to us as leaders or educators in this movement. And there are many smarter, more eloquent, and frankly, all around better people who you can and should be getting that information from, not us. We're just two friends and podcasters, and we talk about dumb stuff. So we're going to continue to release episodes as normally as we can, but during this time we know that everyone needs to pace themselves to limit burnout. This movement is not going away anytime soon. We will not let it do that. And so while especially white people who are new to all this information and we're trying to learn as much as possible in this time, and maybe some of this stuff is brand new to you, it can be exhausting. And of course it's exhausting to the Black people in this country who have been fighting this fight for much longer than the past 2 weeks. And so we hope that during this time, people are finding ways to continue to find laughter and joy. And hopefully our show can provide that needed break and a bit of joy for you, or a few laughs, hopefully, or maybe just a distraction. Don't want to assume that you're all laughing at what we have to say. So we're going to continue to release as normal. But in the meantime, continue to protest and donate and sign the petitions and research and, of course, learn. And if you have any questions or want to talk about Black Lives Matters or defunding the police or anything that's been happening in regards to those movements or in the past few weeks or that will happen in the future, you can reach out to us at MakeMePod on Instagram or at makemepod@gmail.com. And, we're not experts, but we are open to discussion. And most of all, we can hopefully direct you to better resources and better people and, the correct information. We don't have it all, but we're hoping we can have some dialogue with you all as long as it is not offensive or aggressive. And, most of all, please be safe out there. And please be safe out there no matter what you're doing. If you're protesting, if you're just trying to stay safe from coronavirus, whatever you're doing, be safe. Much love. And please enjoy the episode. I feel like even when you're not busy, like I won't get text all day and then I'll go outside for like 10 minutes and come back in and I have like 3 missed calls and 20 missed texts. And I'm like,
Yeah.
You bitches didn't reach out to me all day.
How do you feel about getting started?
I feel good. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Let's do it. Welcome to Make Me. This is a podcast where we force each other to do things we couldn't be bothered to do ourselves. I'm Julia.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're the hosts of this podcast.
Welcome to our podcast, episode 4. Before we get started with this episode, we wanted to thank all of our listeners who have texted us, DM'd us, and told us that you're listening and you're loving it. And like a special shout out to everyone who's given us like really helpful critiques and hints and tips and tricks. It's been really great.
Yeah, since we're new at this, it's helpful to get feedback, as long as it's not mean, because we are also delicate people.
Yeah, we're sensitive. But sometimes if like, you think that we could be doing something better and you've had experience with it, we love to hear that.
Yes,
Especially because it lets us know that like you care too.
definitely. And we've gotten ratings on some platforms and lots of helpful feedback. So we're always trying to grow and get better with that.
Yeah. And as helpful and nice as those text messages have been and letting us know that you're sharing it and all that kind of stuff, that would really help us is if you rated and reviewed on any platform that you're listening to and maybe another platform as well.
Yes, we, as we say, we want those clicks, but specifically clicks on those stars, the rating stars
Hmm.
in your app, and
Preferably
comment.
5 of them.
Yeah, we would love 5.
And a review really helps. That's how like other people are going to say that. I know at the end of every podcast you hear us go on a little rant about how those reviews help us, but it really is going to, if you actually love the podcast and you want other people to hear it, that's how other people are going to hear it.
Right. And like we could be great on our own, but if only the people we know and people closely related to them listen, then we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But again, we really appreciate everyone listening and all the feedback. It's
Yeah.
been great so far. We're only 4 episodes in.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to hear that you actually think that we're funny, because that's the validation that I need.
I've been searching for my whole life. That's what it's brought me to this point.
Well,
And I
it's
still need it.
I mean, it's scary because like I think that Julia's funny and I think that I'm funny. I think I'm hilarious, and anyone who knows me knows that. But it's really nice to hear that like people genuinely think that we're funny.
Yes. And people other than like our moms.
Yeah. Should we get into the make me's?
Yeah. I was just about to say that.
Okay.
You're up first this week.
I'm up first this week. Okay. So I just want to remind everybody what Julia gave me for this week. This week, I had to reach out to an old friend. So, in true fashion, what is your relationship with reaching out to old friends?
Um,
And like, why did you think of this make me? I'm curious the story behind it.
yeah, I think my relationship is that I've tried to reach out to people because I think of something that reminds me of them and I start talking to them just for that day or like an hour and it feels
Yeah.
really good. But then it kind of dwindles and you're like, oh, it's not the same as it used to be. And I think that because of quarantine, there's a lot of like time to think about stuff and you're like, oh, literally everyone I've ever interacted with is going through the same thing right now. So then you think about like old boyfriends and friends and like teachers and whatever.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that a lot, and that's why I brought it up to you to do, because it's something that I would like to do, but I'm also scared to do because it's hard.
It is hard. And I was very curious at like what like was stopping me from like doing it otherwise, because there are people who like I have wanted to reach out to, but like I just like don't, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like the thought always stops at like just before I do it, like before I even
right,
like think about the action. I'm always like, oh, I should reach out, and then I don't. And
right,
I kind of try to look up, because this is like a not a weird like make me, but like the other make me's we've have had like a very solid like a history or something.
right.
And that's why I really like this make me, because like it did give me like a little bit different of a challenge and a different way to think about this segment. But so I started with like looking at why we don't reach out to people, and the biggest thing I could find was like fear of rejection, which makes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of sense, because you don't want to like find out that like someone that you were friends with doesn't see you as like a friend anymore, or like might have
Right.
negative thoughts about you, or just like is simply like nah.
Or you thought you just kind of faded away, but really they have a grudge against you for something you did.
Right. Or like I feel like another part is like, what if I reach out to them and like they suck now?
What if they're an incel now?
Well, okay, this is where the other part of my research led me was I went on Reddit because I love myself,
Yeah,
and
of course.
I wanted to see like what experiences people had with like reaching out to old friends. But one says, I have made some attempts and it didn't go that well. The first time after a long time, it's interesting. You'll get to talk about all sorts of things. After that, I found myself in a cycle of, hey man, how are you? Good. You? Yeah, good. So what's up? Not much, man. You? Yeah, good, man. Okay, well, have a good one. Bye. And then repeat
for till you die.
until you die, which like that totally makes sense because like, what do you talk about if you're not friends anymore? So I kind of actually looked up what you should do if you're going to be reaching out to like a friend, because it, depending on how long ago it was, like, what if you don't have anything in common anymore? You
Right.
know? So I found some helpful advice on bustle.com. So they have like 7 steps basically, or 7 ways
Wow.
to like, if you're going to reach out to an old friend. So the first one's keep it simple, which makes a lot of sense. Text message, DM somehow, something easy, an email.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. Don't, for me, I don't think you should be like, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Or maybe you can't say, hey, we haven't talked in a while, but don't say why you don't talk anymore, especially like if you're trying to reconcile something.
Hey, you wore that weird skirt in 7th grade and I told you looked fat and now we don't talk. What up?
Right. And like, don't try to like blame them for something like
Oh,
in your
yeah.
first, in like your first like interaction.
I hate when people are like, so why don't we talk anymore? And you're
Right.
like, ooh.
I hate that. And that leads to the second one, is like, be direct. Like,
Yeah.
if you have intention of talking to them, tell them what your intention is. Like,
Yes.
do you want to try to like like mend a lifelong relation, like friendship again, or do you just want to check in and make sure like each other's okay, especially in times like now when like you're just
Yeah.
like, I want to make sure you're good.
Right.
So be direct in like what your expectation is.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Next one was actually set plans. Make a, like, if you plan, if your intention is to like have a friendship with them or like learn something about their life, don't be like, hey, we should like get coffee sometime, because then you'll get in a cycle. And I'm so guilty of this, of being like, well, next time we'll just like get coffee or lunch or something. But I'm busy every single time that you want to do that.
Right. Like, so say, let's have coffee Saturday
Mm-hmm.
instead of sometime.
Set a place,
It's
set a
easy.
time. It's easy, and it's, you have more fun. And trust me, from this, what if I've learned one thing from this podcast is like, do the thing that you want to do, and it's
Yes.
worth it.
Yes. The same goes for dating too. Like, nothing worse than talking with someone on text message and then being like, we should go out sometime. And it's like, are you free Tuesday? No. Wednesday? No. And then you just like feel discouraged.
Yeah.
So just say, I'm free Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Do any of those days work for you?
Yeah. Next one, try snail mail. This one's interesting because I'm the king of being like, we're gonna be pen pals, and then I never do. It's a problem that I have. But once you like have started like maybe some like a semi friendship again, or like are in more consistent communication, try sending a nice card or something, because it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be long, but the intention behind it, since it's a little bit more work, means more than like if you don't have anything to say to them, you
Right.
know?
Someone sat down for like 10 minutes writing this, thinking of only you.
Exactly.
That's great.
And it could be better. It would feel better than a text message that's just like, hey man, what's up? Nothing
Yeah.
much, you know?
You can't really write that in a letter.
You're
Hey
right.
man, what's up? Leave a space.
Yeah.
NM you.
Or do that.
Just it's like Mad Libs, but on a letter of a shitty text message.
Just fill in the blank and and send it back to me. Number 5 is make them laugh, which that's just a daily occurrence for me. I can't not try to make someone laugh.
Yes. Yeah,
I don't know
same.
if it's I didn't get enough attention as a child, but
I think that's probably it.
I just like need to make someone laugh. So if you're not making somebody laugh, try to make someone laugh. It also just like lightens the mood, and it could like appease any
Yeah.
worry that like, it could be kind of concerning to get a text from somebody you haven't talked to in so long, and then like you don't know what it's about.
Yeah. Even if you just send like a stupid GIF
Yeah,
with it, they're
exactly.
smiling.
Yeah. Number 6 is address any serious issues, which I think goes along with be direct.
Right.
If you guys had a falling out, kind of try to say, maybe think about what you might have done wrong and try not to accuse the person of something. But like, if you feel serious resentment towards them, maybe it's not time for you guys to
Right.
reconnect, and like maybe you should learn how to like let go of resentment, unless like they murdered
Right.
somebody, then like
Something good I learned recently was that thinking you need closure isn't between two people. Closure
Mm-hmm.
is within yourself. Closure is feeling okay with where you are with someone. So whatever you need to do to get to that point, do it, but don't burden the other person by like if you break up with someone, don't like force them to have a final meeting with you or keep talking. You can find closure in yourself. And so you don't need to like come out of the blue with someone you haven't talked to in 10 years to try to get closure unless you think this is like really the only way to do it.
Right. And this isn't on the list. Well, number 7 is consider what has changed. But what I was going to say is try to consider that they could be going through something
Yeah.
else that has nothing to do with like what you went through with them, or like
Right.
say you want to catch up and be and like have a good time. Just be kind of considerate if they're not down to have a good time right now, don't get mad at them because like you just now decided that you were going to reach out and they might
Right.
not be receptive to it right now.
Right. Even if you did nothing wrong, they're allowed to say, I don't want to catch up.
Right. And like this isn't a good time and you just got to accept that.
Right.
Don't gaslight somebody for like having a life or like emotions or like
Right.
not knowing what your intentions are either, you
Right.
know?
That's good for every relationship.
That's good. Yeah, that's just good for like interacting with people. Is like consider like other people's feelings.
Right. Not everyone's perceiving a situation the same way you are.
Yeah. Number 7 is consider what has changed, which that it kind of leads in like it that sorry. Number 7 is consider what has changed, and that kind of stems from what we were just talking about. Like the situation that you guys were in before might not be the situation that you are in now. So
Right.
just be cognizant of it. So I think that not fixes any problem, but I think that the person that wrote this in onto Reddit might not have considered that, because it kind of sounds like they reached out and then wanted the other person to do the work,
Right. That makes
which
sense to
is
me.
not what you can like. If you actually care about this person, like, yeah, it might be uncomfortable, but lead the conversation. And if you know, and then either it pays off and like they want to talk to you too, or not,
Right.
you know. A few years back, I met with an old friend to find out he only wanted to hang out with me so he could pitch a pyramid scheme to me. Fuck you, dude. It says.
Cube all Facebook messages I've gotten the past 3 years.
I ended up hearing from one of my old childhood friends and neighbor that one of our other childhood friends in the neighborhood, who I hadn't talked to in over a decade, murdered his college girlfriend and is spending life in prison now. We were best friends from like 5 to 13 years old until our family moved.
What?
Yeah, that one would be hard to like
How do you
reconcile
live
with.
with? I would be like pissed I reached out.
Yeah, I would. Ugh, I don't even know how I would feel. Like, do you just stop responding? So for this week, I decided to reach out to a childhood friend by the name of Paige Clark. What up, Paige Clark? Hey,
Yo,
how
what
are
up?
you?
Shout out.
Paige and I were friends from around fourth grade to around 7th grade,
Okay.
when we went to elementary and middle school together. I ended up transferring out, so we didn't get to remain friends. And being 2007 and us being so young, we didn't have phones, so we kind of lost contact
Mm-hmm.
because of it. So I decided to reach out to her, and I was very nervous
Why
because
did you choose her?
she's somebody that I follow on social media. It seems like we have the same sensibilities, and I missed her. And I remember like being good friends with her, and I just kept thinking like how things could be, you know.
Cool.
I got to jump on a Zoom call with her on
So
Sunday,
fun.
and it was really good to see her and talk to her, because I DM'd her, and I was really nervous because I was like, I have this podcast and I don't know if you've seen it. And like, I didn't want to make it, I didn't want it to sound like I was just trying to use her, because it's not what it
Right.
was. And I was genuinely interested in her. And like, this podcast has given me the opportunity to like actually reach out and like kind of challenge me to do so, which is the
Yeah.
exact point of it.
I was going to ask you about that if you mentioned the podcast or if you didn't.
I did reach out and I did mention the podcast because I wanted to be direct. I wanted to
Right.
like let her
Oh, yeah.
know. And
Bustle article.
exactly. So, and it helped. And she was like, her first response was, "Hey, I'm so glad to hear from you. I've actually followed you on social media, and I've thought about reaching out to you, and that felt really good to know
Wow.
that like it's kind of a mutual thing. And there's like we're all kind of experiencing that block of like, I have this old friend and I should reach out to them.
Right.
But we haven't talked in over a decade, which is
Wow.
crazy.
That is crazy.
So it's kind of nerve-wracking because like we were like it's 6th grade. We're totally different people back then.
Yeah.
You know? So the first part, like the first part of our conversation was like, you know, regular, just kind of catch up and like what her story is.
Were you nervous to talk to her before this?
I was kind of nervous because also I had a couple questions that like could come off across as like kind of abrasive if like not the right like audience. We hadn't talked in so long. I don't know like if she's like, if someone had come up to me, I'd be so chill about it. I just didn't know what like I said, I don't know what was going on in her life. So this could have been a bad time for her.
Right.
I was nervous for those reasons, but she, in our like DMs and stuff, she seemed like pretty like excited about it.
That's great.
But I was like also I had almost like first date kind of like nerves because like I don't know what's gonna happen, and what if I like sound like an idiot, you know?
Right. I kind of feel that way talking to anyone on the phone, so I can't imagine like a person I haven't talked to in 10 years that has expectations for me.
So then I started asking a couple questions. So what is your last memory of us as friends?
Oh my gosh. Oh wow, I don't remember. So, okay, I don't know if I have a last one, but I have like a few that just like stick out in my head.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that because I cannot remember the last thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that stick out about you is I remember we were like in 5th grade and we had like crushes on each other, but we weren't doing anything about it. And like everyone else knew that we had crushes on each other. And it was either in 5th or 6th grade, but like we had that dumb dance in the cafeteria. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
And I remember someone, I can't remember who, but someone would like give us $1, which is a big if you and I agreed to slow dance with each other. And of course you and I are both like, I feel like we're like funny and like awkward, so we were like doing it for lulz.
Yeah.
And so how we slow danced with each other was we stuck our fingers out and like spun around each other, but like would not touch each other other than like this moment.
Yeah.
And that was just like, so that's one thing that stands out.
Oh my God.
Those dances were amazing.
Middle school was a nightmare.
It was so a nightmare.
People paying you to dance.
Paige and I were also just like those two kids, you know, like it wasn't until we were having this conversation I remember that like we were like 5th or 6th grade boyfriend girlfriend for a little bit, and I do remember this dance, and we did just like goof around, and we were kind of like that go-to like goofy like duo.
Second, I just remember like thousands of hours spent messaging you on Yahoo Messenger. Or like you had Hotmail. I remember being so pissed because you were like the only person that had Hotmail. So I had to get like a Hotmail login just to talk to you because everyone else I talked to was on Yahoo except you. And Clark13_Jaguar_dude.
Man.
My pride and joy. So I remember that, and I think this is right after you moved because we still chatted a lot after you moved because you went to GRA, if I remember.
I went to a different school first, but then I ended up at GRA.
Yeah. But I distinctly remember you telling me you were bi via Hotmail chat, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy for you. And I just remember like being really happy that you told me that.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot, and I'm really happy that.
How old were you?
It was like 8th or 9th grade, and at this point we weren't in school anymore. And I remember just like wanting to tell people about it because I had like finally figured out something about myself that I feel like I had been struggling with for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been so long that I forgot that she was somebody that I completely relied on.
Right.
You know?
And it takes so much to, you know, you don't see that person every day. And so I'm sure it's scary too. When you've like moved schools and it's not like one of your close friends that you see all the time anymore.
Right. And so it was really nice to like hear her like acknowledge that and remember that, because I remember that being like kind of a big deal for me. Well,
of
obviously
course,
not even kind of.
Yeah.
So
like it's cool that you got to connect with this person that meant so much to you. It wasn't just that you were friends, but you know, it's mutual meaningfulness of your relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
and then further along the conversation, she's like mentioning memories that I didn't have because I remember different parts of things. So this is a time of nostalgia I don't really have people to like talk about because our town was so small and neither of us talked to people anymore from there. So like
Right.
we were the only ones to have this nostalgia together. And since we hadn't talked for so long.
The third thing I remember most is you and I went trick-or-treating in Conneaut, I think, with your mom.
Yes.
And
think so.
I didn't have a costume or anything because I didn't plan on going trick-or-treating. So we just painted my face blue and we went as Smurfs. And like we did nothing else except like we had some weird blue stuff and we just put it all over our face and both went as Smurfs, and it was fantastic.
Oh, that was so fun. What a good time.
It was. We ate so much candy.
It's nice to have those just like super simple like memories.
Right. Plus, I feel like your memory expands when you talk to someone. Like you definitely had the memory in your brain somewhere.
Yeah.
But then they can spark, like you're dragging it from the back of your brain to the front.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's nice to relive those things.
100%. And then we went into this fun conversation about just like our friendship, not necessarily things that we did, but the way that we acted with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember wanting to be like, popular, and like me, you were like, yeah, that shit's for the birds, and we're good over here. And so she like, her and I like started this like war of like, no, like you're not authentic, like come hang out with us. Like basically if this was Mean Girls, like she was trying to set the plastics and we were the kids that put like meat on their face.
Yeah.
I want to be the kid that puts meat on their face.
I think we're definitely like 6th grade anarchists when it came to
We totally were, which is so ridiculous. And then I just remember like going out to recess and just like making fun of it. Literally
everybody.
Like that's where the art of talking shit in my life started, and I'm really happy about it.
For sure. We definitely thought we were better than everybody.
Oh my God, I want to be friends with you guys.
Right? Also, like, to be in 5th or 6th grade and just to, like, call somebody unauthentic
Oh
is
my
just
God.
so on brand for me.
Did you guys call people posers? That was a big, like, theme for a few years. Was like, that person's a fucking poser.
We probably did. We were the kids who were, like, playing tag and, like, doing all this goofy stuff for, like, way too long.
Yeah.
But we were, like, we're having fun. We're having more fun than anyone who was, like, pretending to be popular or trying to be popular.
Right.
Or, like,
I
whatever,
feel
whatever that means in 6th grade.
Plus, this is a trait of yours that is still alive and well today.
That's how you and I became friends, is sitting at the bar and talking shit on everybody that we went to college with.
On our own friends too.
But then things shifted into what it was like to live in a small town, and that's something I've kind of I've kind of denied myself because I haven't looked back since I've left Jefferson, and I don't really talk about it. I don't have anyone to talk about it with. It's not really it's not like good memories necessarily. So it was good to hear that, you know, she was kind of feeling the same way.
Yeah.
One example is our health, like how health class was.
That's because I don't know if you were still at Jefferson, but we like our sex ed was abstinence.
Abstinence only, yeah.
I specifically remember they give you that card. I don't know if you remember.
So you can get like pizza discounts from pizza.
And so you sign it if you're gonna promise to be abstinent. And I specifically remember in 7th grade going, I don't want to lie.
I love that.
Oh my God.
And then I kind of realized that there were times in high school where, you know, we were kind of living parallel lives or like having similar struggles. And I was interested in how that was going for her. And so she told me this story.
People are so shocked that I have like no friends from high school. And I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't like it. I was angry the whole time I was there. I specifically remember I got on the newspaper as early as you could. So I think it was my sophomore year. Mm-hmm. And one of the first articles I wrote was an opinion column on homophobia and why it's like it's stupid and like basically. And I wrote this article and I was like 15, so I'm sure it sounds dumb now and I'd be like appalled at reading it.
Right.
But, like I'm sure my 15-year-old intentions were like fantastic.
Young social justice warrior and like
young social justice warrior in the worst place to be a social justice warrior.
Yeah.
And so I remember specifically Mr. was the principal, and he called me to his office and was like, hey, we're not going to put this article out because it's like contradicting. And like, and he just like read me all this bullshit. And he goes, on another thing, we're going to take this other essay you wrote and we're going to enter in this contest for our students. He's like, we're not going to put your name on it though, but we're going to use it as Jefferson.
What?
And then he gave me a granola bar and like patted me on the back and set me on my way. And I was like, wow, that's just like Jefferson is like everything you think a small town is. And it's like the good parts of a small town where like, yeah, you can have your kids walk around at night and like they're going to be fine and they're going to come home and like you don't have to worry about them. But it's also all the bad parts about a small town where like there's no growth, like people aren't thinking outside, like it's very closed-minded and like all those things.
That's so stifling.
I know. I feel bad that she had to go through that. And I wish
Yeah.
I could have been there.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like too, I'm glad that she had it in her to be like, this is bullshit, because a lot of people face that when they're young and they don't really know what's right and they can like sense that it feels wrong but don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
And you let it color the rest of your life. But she seems like she was like, fuck this. I'm getting out of here.
Being in Jefferson, I'm sure like you kind of feel I just like never felt myself or felt good about who I was. Like my friends I did have in high school, I'd be like all upset about all these things and they'd be like, you're stupid. Like why are you so angry all the time? Why do you care about stupid stuff like that? And I'd be like, how can you not care about stupid stuff like that? So I think we're just like getting out and like finding a voice and like being able to share that stuff and not care if people think it's stupid.
Yeah.
So I would say those are things like getting out and like just more finding myself and finding my voice and like being more comfortable with myself, that like when I go back home, I know like people are going to disagree with who I am or like anything, but like not caring and like being okay with that.
Wow.
Yeah. I wish that I feel like in 7th grade, we didn't have phones. We had just missed the opportunity to have phones when we knew each other. And I feel like if we did, we could have, because I lived in Jefferson the whole time. I never like moved. Yeah. So it makes me sad to think that we could have had each other then.
No, I definitely think we would have stayed friends if we didn't miss that.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds like you guys had a fun friendship too. Like you were dealing with some hard stuff, but also it wasn't just like commiseration.
Right, exactly. And it made me really smile and like I felt really good having that conversation. And I felt good having had reached out to somebody.
Yeah.
So since I was having such success and I was feeling really good about myself, I actually just like, I know that you said to only reach out, the point was reach out to somebody from before college, but I then reached out last week to my college friend, Christina.
Cool.
And just like cold called her, and we haven't talked in a while. And we recently sent a few text messages back and forth, but it was really good to like talk to her.
Yeah.
And it was really good to hear about her life and the things that she's doing. So I honestly recommend, like, if you have any part of you wants to reach out to somebody, I just say do it.
Yeah.
And if anything bad happens, like you can move forward, but I'm telling you, it's like 100% worth it. Like I've been emotionally moved this week by it, and it's been really good to. It's a hard week, and there's a lot of hard conversations being had right now, and to reach out to people and to see that they're on the same page as you, and to know that they're persevering and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. I mean, I was getting jealous listening to these audio clips you have, thinking of all the people that I want to reach out to. And I like that you asked specific questions, because I think that if I just talked to someone out of the blue, I wouldn't have thought to ask those types of questions.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people get caught up, is they're just like, so what do you do? Like, how are you doing? Where do you live? And it gets stifling. And people want to be asked about themselves. People love to talk about themselves. So asking questions like, what goals did you have that you accomplished? And like, what are your favorite memories of our relationship? That's how you actually have a meaningful conversation. And you don't get stuck in the what's up, I'm good, you thing.
And because of those specific questions, we got to like share really great memories that I didn't remember. And like, I found out that we have so much in common now.
Yeah.
It's still, and it was so good to do that, because if I had just asked like, hey, how are you? I would have gotten like, I'm good. How are you? And I'd be like,
right.
I'm good. But yeah, that's my make me.
I'm so jealous. Like my mind is racing of all the people I want to talk to and have those conversations with.
Yeah. And this is a shout out to Anybody who might be upset that I didn't fully complete this Make Me this time, or the last two Make Me's, I'm sorry that I didn't get to make a fun video, but this was like way more meaningful.
It seems like you went above and beyond the Call of Duty anyway.
Thank you.
So how would you rank both sides?
Out of 10 abstinence only gift certificate cards, so I'm gonna give how I felt before and how I felt after as my rankings. Before, I felt 4 out of 10 abstinence only gift cards because I was nervous that like it was gonna suck and my feelings were gonna get hurt, which is like a hard thing to deal with like on a daily basis, like doing anything.
Yeah.
But afterward, I give it like a 10 out of 10. Like, I full on encourage everyone to like do it.
Wow.
Like,
that's great.
This is completely different than the Rube Goldberg, which I feel like if you have to do it, do it. But I mean, like, if you're even just minorly thinking about it, do it.
Yeah. I want you to make me do it.
Julia, do you want to take a break before we move into the next part?
Yes, I really have to pee.
I have to pee too. Okay, see you in a second, y'all.
Bye.
Hey, lovely listeners. Are you like an influencer or a musician or an artist?
Or a cookie baker.
Or a cake baker?
Someone that makes things and aren't tied to large corporations.
This is a part of the podcast where we would probably read some cool, nicely written ad copy. And here we are just like chatting right now.
And, you know, most podcasts do ad reads, but they do them for mattresses and toothbrushes and website creators.
And literally no one uses either three of those things.
We would love to promote like bands, artists, Instagram influencers that otherwise wouldn't get the ad reads.
And here's the kicker, you guys. It's like 1,000% free.
1,000,000,000% even.
Yeah. So just let us know. DM us.
We for real just want to do some ad reads for people that we would love to support that aren't getting this type of promotion.
Yeah.
It helps us, it helps you, and it'll be a super fun time, and maybe we'll be best friends afterward.
Yeah. So either DM us at MakeMePod on Instagram or email us at makemepod@gmail.com with what you'd like us to promote, where we can find you, and some tidbits about what you're making.
We'll let you know when we put out the episode with your ad in it, and you can promote it all over your socials and hopefully give us a shout out.
Yeah. So we hope to hear from you guys.
It's a mutual relationship.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Bow, bow.
All right, back to the show. Welcome back, everybody, to Make Me, the podcast where Julia and I force each other to do things that we couldn't be bothered to do ourselves. My name is Jordan.
I'm Julia.
And we're here for second half of the pod, baby.
Yeah, baby. Pow, pow, pow.
Okay, Julia, what was your Make Me for this week?
All right. My Make Me this week was to do a beauty guru makeup tutorial.
Heyo.
So what is your relationship with makeup tutorials?
So I am obsessed with them, low key. I love to watch all of like the makeup, like the eyeshadow palette reviews that are out there, all the makeup product reviews. I love to watch people doing their makeup. I'm a big fan of drag, so I love to watch drag queens do makeup tutorials. Yeah. And I always think that one day I'll put on makeup on my own face. And that's where it ends, yeah. But I also think that I've watched so many that I'll just like be able to do it, which I know isn't the case. But I'm like, I could just do it.
But so my history with makeup is a little rocky. I would just say I've always felt like I didn't have anyone to like show me how to put makeup on, or like I was never the girl that wanted to do all that. I always felt like I wasn't very feminine, and so like it wasn't even for me really. And then when I was doing it, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And my mom never wore a lot of makeup. You know, she would like do concealer and like eyeliner, or you know, like base stuff. And she even got like eyeliner tattooed on so that she didn't have to put it on every day. Like we're easygoing. Don't put a lot of stuff on your face. Like wake up at the last minute possible and go.
Yeah.
And so then in high school, Well, I remember this very distinct moment in middle school where I was like trying to put on, this is when I was like first dabbling with makeup and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I loved going to the CVS and like picking out things. And I would like put on the purple eyeliner one time and then like never touch it again because I was like,
Yeah.
why? I've never worn eyeliner before. So like, am I just going to show up at school with eyeliner on? That's so weird.
Yeah.
So one time, my parents are divorced. I was at my mom's and I did like eyeliner and you like keep messing up and messing up. So then you have like a full eyelid of eyeliner and it was
Yeah.
purple. And I was like, I'm going to go with it. I think it's cool. And we pulled in, like my mom drove me to school and it was way before the bell. So she parked along the side of the school's like drive parking lot while we waited. And my dad that day was driving my stepbrother to school who happened to be with him. Like usually we had synced up the days were with my dad, but it wasn't that way. And he saw my mom's car and he like got out of his car and walked up to the window to say hi and good morning. And I had this like full eyelid of purple and I was so embarrassed. And he was like, I like your makeup. He like looked at me astonished and then was like, I like your makeup. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like I was
Anytime
so
that, like,
embarrassed.
Anytime like your dad compliments you, you're like, okay, well, I'm fucking ugly now.
Yes, exactly. So I kind of like always felt that way. So I would like wear makeup, but I also didn't like, you don't know what you're doing when you're first doing your makeup.
Yeah.
So it's not great. I remember
Also,
a lot
when
of
you
like,
did that, there weren't makeup tutorials, or you didn't know.
I wasn't
about them.
watching them.
Yeah.
I was just like winging it or like looking at 17 magazine and being like, that looks cute. Let me try to replicate that. And then
Yeah.
because of my image of myself already was that like, I'm not feminine enough to do this. Then I would do it and be like, this feels wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I like have worn makeup basically since 9th grade, not like every day, but I like know what I'm doing enough. Like I can look presentable and like I've done fun big eye stuff. And in high school, my one friend started watching a lot of makeup tutorials and got really into them. And so I got into them too. And we found this one lady called, I don't remember what her real name is, but her channel is called Makeup the Hell. And she basically was like mad about every look she was putting on. But like, so I wore makeup going out and I used to wear more going out. And now every day I wear like mascara. I like don't wear a lot of makeup. But I like you, I love watching the videos because you get to see like everyone's little like all the things they have and like the brand new palettes and the brushes and it's like all these things that you wish you had.
It's so pretty and it's so
It's so
colorful
pretty.
and the glitter and like,
and they know what they're doing too.
and
It's
they
like
make such cool things and like
it's like art.
it is art.
Yeah, it's definitely art. And it's captivating too. Like, so you assigned this to me and I was like, oh, I'll probably just watch like 1 or 2 videos, just like remember what they're about. And I watched makeup tutorials for a full 2 days.
That's what happened last week.
But I didn't know where to start. So I asked you and you sent me to Nikki Tutorials. And I asked some other people like what they like. So I found like the 2 people I watched the most of was Nikki Tutorials and this person, It's Likely Makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know them.
No.
But they're both just like very fun to watch. They're not saying anything like extravagant or hilarious but it's just like a good wholesome time to watch.
Yeah.
And
It
I
sounds
feel
like you're
that's-
describing us.
Right. It feels like it's just like it's like comfortable to just watch someone. I don't know, it's soothing. It's kind of like
Mhm.
those slime videos but you're actually learning something.
Right.
And I also was watching Vogue has a series where they show famous people doing their like skincare and their makeup,
Oh.
which is very great. So you're like watching you're watching like Harry Styles' girlfriend do her morning routine. So I don't have like so much background research because it was basically just watching makeup tutorials.
What do you think you saw the most of?
The most of what I saw, and this is where it gets tricky, is that I saw a lot of people reviewing palettes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they weren't saying like, oh, this is how you do this technique, or this is how you do like an e-girl look. It was like, this is the new Lady Gaga palette, and I'm just going to show you like a handful of things you could do with it.
Did they like the Lady Gaga palette?
The one, Nikki Tutorials liked it.
Because I've been thinking about like in quarantine, like investing in like some brushes and like an eyeshadow palette, just because like I think it's cool when you like anyone has like a cool bold like monochromatic like eye,
Yeah.
and I feel like I could play around with it, and like I have like
Yeah.
big eyebrows that I could, you know, do
You
something
totally
with.
could. But I think the people that do makeup tutorials get a bad rap in like our general society.
Mm-hmm.
Like all you know about them, if you're not someone that watches them, is that it's someone that like has like crazy lighting on them that's like, hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm gonna review blah blah blah. And like I think we think of them as these like caricatures of people.
It's so glamorous though, and like I think that's the appeal to me is I'm like,
Yeah.
they're so pretty, they're so put
Yes.
together, and like
Yes.
they're so flamboyantly fun, and like I am kind of like obsessed with it. And I'm
Yes.
also obsessed with like beauty guru drama. I
Yes.
love to like involve myself in it.
Yes. Well, it seems like so arbitrary too. But I think I'm saying I really appreciate them and respect them, and I agree with you. It is like glamorous and fun. But I think for people that aren't interested in it, it's so easy to make fun of them because
Yeah.
it does seem like this inconsequential part of our society and like corner of the internet.
Well, sometimes I think people think that they're vapid, and like, listen, you guys, I'm not out here putting out like content for you to think I'm smart, and I don't think that everyone's trying to prove something sometimes, and I think that
Yes.
people should like let people have fun and like
Yes.
be vapid sometimes.
And I think it's also people don't like women and don't like women feeling themselves.
Yeah,
And that's
100%.
most of makeup tutorials.
And sometimes you have to like say, do I not, if you see a woman and you don't like them, you honestly have to ask yourself, do I not like them because I don't like what they're putting out, or is it just woman hatred?
Right. And I have to ask myself this all the time. Like, do I not like this person because of who they actually are, or because it like I see them as prettier than me or better than me or what in some way
Threatening.
a better version of me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a lot of things, especially I think this is me hypothesizing, but I think straight men see makeup tutorials as useless.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think there's because they don't have any understanding of it really, of like the makeup world.
Yeah.
And also I think people can say that they see this as useless because they think the makeup industry is like all like preying off of women's vanity.
Yeah.
But if we we've been given these tools by society saying we have to look a certain way, act a certain way, now we're profiting off it and you're mad at us?
Right. It's
Like,
ridiculous.
what the hell?
Yeah.
So I'm all for makeup tutorials. But for me, I was nervous to do it because like I said, I don't have a lot of makeup. I don't wear a lot of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt, I just think I've always been very conscious of how I look and apply makeup because I have this probably skewed view of myself as like someone that's not allowed to look a certain way, or like, oh, my personality doesn't mesh with this like hyper feminine, like trying actively to be sexy vision or like look. And so,
which is okay, but
it's okay.
But trying to like that person is right too, but trying to
Right.
like be another person while like seeing that, I can imagine is being really difficult.
Right. And I'm not like saying either one is bad. I think that it's something that I need to work on. But so I was nervous to like put myself out there in that way. Like I'm
Yeah.
actively trying to look good and do a good job with my appearance, and I'm going to tell people that this is the way to look good.
Yeah.
That's scary to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like pretty open about having an eating disorder and being in eating disorder recovery, and a lot of that is about body image. And so again, like putting yourself out, like putting my bare face on video, number one, and then number two, like making it up in this way and being like, look at me, look at the drama, look at the beauty.
Yeah.
That's tough. And I think also just accepting, like having to look at myself in the video in the mirror for so long and just accepting like both versions are beautiful, both versions are acceptable, and saying like, I am allowed to look this way, like with makeup on, and that's a great version of myself too.
Yeah.
But that's really hard. And I think that's something that a lot of people go through, like body image of any kind. Even if you're like, oh, I don't wear cuffed jeans because it looks like I'm trying too hard then. Like
Yeah.
that's another, we think we are only these certain boxes, but you
Mm-hmm.
can break out and be just as great.
You can be anything you want to be.
Right. And I think that sometimes we say that things are for other people only and not for us. And
Yeah.
I definitely do that. So I really enjoyed doing this because I had to confront a lot of that in myself to be like, why am I so nervous about putting on makeup in a video? Like I've done it before. Like I've put makeup on a million times.
And people have seen you. It's not like
yes.
It's not like you put on makeup and now you're invisible and now all of a
Right.
sudden people are going to see you because you've decided to like make content.
Right. And plus I like putting on makeup and I do like extravagant looks when I go out sometimes too. So I think like doing it for a purpose felt intimidating.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when you're looking at videos on YouTube of makeup tutorials, they're all like 15 to 25 minutes long. They're really long. And I was like, wow, 15 minutes, that's so long. Maybe I'll do like half that amount of time. And then I started doing it and this video was an hour long from start to finish and I cut it to 11 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
So also respect for these people out here doing these makeup tutorials because you have to have a lot of skill to something that takes a long time to do. I mean, it probably took me longer than it takes them. But even so, even if it's 30 minutes and you cut to 15, that's a lot of work to have a cohesive video. And they have like all of the preamble of saying like, welcome back, here's what we're doing this week, here's what we're reviewing, blah, blah, blah. And then the end. And also getting used to talking to a camera took a long time. So this is also the number 4 out of 4 videos I took to try to like get in the groove of talking to the camera and like saying things with authority and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually say things with authority. You could be the judge of that. But yeah, let's watch it and then we can talk about it.
Okay. So everyone listening, pause, go to our Instagram at MakeMePod, watch this video and experience it in real time with us and we'll be back.
Yes.
Oh, that was so good.
Thanks.
Listeners, if you have not paused, I gave you an amount of time to go pause, to go watch. My favorite quote was, "Thank you for watching, even though you watched me do fucked up things to my face."
So I'm glad you liked it.
It was so funny. And your look was so cute.
Thanks.
I have one question.
I felt like I was hustling everyone because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then by the end of it, I was like, I guess I've acquired some skills over the years.
I loved the colors and the glitter. I love glitter. I have one question. Yeah. Are you mad at me? I just feel like
No, I'm not mad at you at all. The whole time I was making it, I was like, I don't know. I feel like my general personality is like kind of like that. And then I just like amped it up and I was like, why am I so pissed?
You were just like, throughout the video, you were like, I think it's cute. And then you would like make a face like, if you don't agree with me, I'll punch you now.
Well, I cut out all of these clips of me being like, this is cute. Is this cute? I think this is cute. This is cute, right? Like needing some sort of audience approval, but there was no one there. So I was like, I think this is okay.
As your first audience member, it was cute. And
Thank you.
I love the I love the beauty guru hands where you're trying to make it focus.
It's hard. Like I think so to preemptively give my rating, I think it was a great make me because it's very fun, but also like something that maybe doesn't seem like it puts you out of your comfort zone, but for me, it definitely did.
Yeah.
And I think that my like application of the make me could have been better. Like I think I just needed more practice to be like, this is what I'm doing, saying that first and then doing it.
Yeah.
And speaking with more authority than instead of being like, I think this is right.
Yeah.
But also it felt authentic to who I am and my relationship with makeup, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I value authenticity rather than like pretending to be an expert in a field that like you're not actually an expert
in. So I try to do some of like the key makeup guru things, but then I also got away from it because I was like, you can't see this, but behind the scenes, there's I was trying to make a blooper reel, and then that weird stuff with my computer happened.
Yeah.
But there's like 600 clips of me being like, fuck, I already fucked this up already. Or like I knocked over my camera, or like I did things in the wrong order.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming soon, but I have to figure out things with my computer before I can do that.
Okay. So what I saw was a really cool like pink red look with some silver glitter and some bold eyeliner and a subtle lip, and I loved it.
Yes. Thanks.
And I love seeing, she also used like a blush stick, and I love when people use those for some reason. I think those are like so chic and so cool, and I just feel like they're like way sexier, not like looks wise, but like sexy, and like the product is sexy.
Yes.
Than like just like a powder like blush.
Definitely. Like those Glossier like tubes of whatever. It's like you can use in your lips, your eyes, and your cheeks. I love those.
Yeah. Did you like, was that a look that you found, or did you invent that look?
So I was looking up a lot of videos and like trying to find things that I liked, and I've always liked, like you said, the like one tone blurry bold eye color.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked a bunch of people what they think I should do, like my friends that wear a lot of makeup, and they said I think you should watch a bunch of videos and see what you like, and then try to push them together.
Yeah.
So that's how I got the like flatter but long eye.
Yeah.
And then the blurred out pink.
Have you ever done makeup like that before, or is this like your first like glammy kind of makeup?
Yeah, I think it's my first full look like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've done pieces of it before, but I don't usually go, like if I'm going out, I'll do like a smoky eye. I won't do pink.
Yeah. What do you
glitter
think?
I've only ever worn when I went to the Lizzo concert.
Is that what you had them? Is that what
That's
you had?
Why I had it. Yeah.
Where do you think you excelled the most in the look, and then where do you think that you could use more improvement?
So I can definitely use more improvement with my foundation and like what's it called, concealer.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know how to contour at all.
Yeah.
And I think that would have definitely improved the look as like a glam look, but I just don't know how to do it. I have 2 products for covering my face, so I was like, I could go out and get all this stuff, but I feel like the make me is stuff you can do at home, kind of.
Yeah.
And I've taught myself how to do eyeliner over the years, because I feel like that's the one thing you can do with like an otherwise bare face and look pretty
it seems like it's that like mascara and eyeliner are like the things that you have to do. Like you said, your mom got it tattooed onto her eyes, because like if you don't, like that's real bare face, and I just feel like I rarely ever see that. So out of 10 abstinence only coupon cards, how did you feel before doing it and after you completed it? So
before, I would say 5 abstinence pizza cards, pizza coupons. I liked I'm a fan of them.
Yeah.
I like playing with makeup. I'm not good at putting myself out there and like trying to be sexy.
Yeah.
So that was nerve-wracking. After doing it, I feel a lot better. I would say like an 8 abstinence only pizza coupons, but that's just because of my execution. Like I think I pushed through a lot of my nervousness and like weirdness about my body and like showing off my face. But I think if I had like a little more time, or I had practiced a few more times, I could have done like a real ass beauty guru tutorial.
Yeah.
So this was like Julia's version, but I could have like gone into that mind space.
Yeah. I'm glad that you like you stuck true to yourself though, and like was super authentic. And we got to like
and
see
mad.
and mad. And we got to see a little bit of that, like, not that I want to see you struggle, but like it was very human, because I feel like a lot of makeup tutorials are like, this is perfect, I'm perfect, and I didn't mess up any times because this is the way I edited it to be.
I think that's why I also got nervous, because you never see them being like, oh, that line's not right, so let me fix it.
Yeah.
And like thinking that you ruined everything.
Right.
Which I'm sure they still do, even the people that do it all the time.
Right.
Oh, another shout out. This comedian Benton Ray, who is he's like the co-host on Whitney Cummings' podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He and his friends have been doing Instagram live videos of them doing makeup. So like at night they'll have a cocktail and do Instagram lives together and do like crazy glittery glam videos. And I like watching those a lot because it is I don't know how this is going to look. I'm just going to try to see what happens. This is what I'm going for. And then it doesn't work. So they have to like improvise and do something else.
Yeah.
And then you see, they're on there for like hours at a time versus 15 minutes. And like I said, I cut this from an hour, and I'm pretty sure all of those videos of like the reviews of palettes and stuff are just as long. And there's so much editing that goes into it. So like props to people that are editing their own videos, and also much more respect for you editing our podcast too. I knew it was hard, but doing it myself and having to like make all the decisions of, do I leave this in? Do I take this out?
Yeah.
Which millisecond do I cut this clip at?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard.
So I owe you like $500 I don't have.
I would love $500. Oh boy. Should we move into next week's Make Me's? How do you feel?
I feel really good.
For next week, I want you to learn a close-up magic trick.
Oh my God. Yes. Cool. All right. So for next week, I'm making you understand furries.
Yes.
So just to be clear, this is not making fun of the fetish.
No.
I truly want to understand like where it comes from. And I feel like they get trashed all the time, and we need some like base knowledge.
You want to report back.
So I need a book report on furries.
You got it. All right. It's sad time to wrap up.
Yeah.
But don't forget, everybody, to like, comment, subscribe on Julia's makeup challenge video.
Yes, please. Don't forget. I'm sorry that I came off very mean. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just trying to figure out what I was doing.
But if you don't think it's cute, you're going to get it.
And if you don't think it's cute, don't even bother commenting.
Don't bother.
Don't even think about it.
Get out of here.
And I'm walking here.
Do you have a make me for the audience?
My make me for the audience is, since I know you're all at home and you have all of your indoor house plants you're keeping alive and you're trying to be urban gardeners, I want to see what happens. I want you to run trials on what type of liquids best feed your houseplants, like a science fair type challenge.
We want trifold posters.
Yes, I'm making you run tests on your precious houseplants, because I have a theory that, coffee probably kills a plant, but can I use the water that I steamed broccoli with to water my plants? Is that gonna work?
I want you to kill your plants so I don't have to.
In the name of science.
All right, everybody. Till next Wednesday. I love you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey guys, it's Jordan and Julia. Thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
For content related to this episode, follow us at MakeMePod on Instagram. And you can hear episodes each week on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you find us anywhere else, please let us know.
You can also send us your questions, comments, make me suggestions, pictures of your dog, or requests for unlicensed medical advice to makemepod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, etc., etc. That's how we get discovered.
Please, we need to be clicked.
But for real, leave a comment so we know you love us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.